Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I would like to make a request. If everybody can come a little closer, please. There's a huge vacuum here. It feels very empty. It would be nice if you all can come closer. Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Namo Stapita Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Pradamaya Dati Saspadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakam Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sri Rupa Sahabrajatam Sarvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sarvadana Gita Shivaya Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschatya Deshatarane Vanchaka Padrubhyascha Kripa Sindhavevacha Patinana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today we will be talking about Gundicha Marjana. That is coming up 6 days from today. It is actually this Saturday. It's August 18th, which is this Saturday, the day before Snadayatra, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I would like to share a few thoughts on Gundicha Marjana. Gundicha actually is the name of wife of Maharaj Indradyumna. And he was a great devotee who actually took darshan of Madhava when he was in separation. And it was him that actually got the log, the whole pastime story of getting the log in. And he had a carpenter carve the Lord, and because of this impatience, he couldn't wait to see the Lord. One night he opened the door and the Lord was incomplete, and that's why we have no Jagannath Bali Subhadra in that form. So his wife's name was Gundicha, and Marjana means cleansing. And cleansing meaning the heart. It means the temple, physical work, but it also means the heart. And as we all know, the pastime of the Rath Yatra, Gundicha Marjana, the cleansing, the cleaning, the cleansing of the temple and the heart goes hand in hand with Rath Yatra. So it's like very auspicious that we have Gundicha coming up on August 18th, and then 2 weeks after that is Rath Yatra. So we know that in Lord Chaitanya, in his mood, in his pastime, the Rath Yatra is actually the pastimes of the residents of Vrindavan meeting Lord Krishna at Kurukshetra and bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan after such a long time. And in Jagannath Puri, their Rath Yatra goes on for days and days and days. And the Lord actually stays in the Gundicha temple for 8 days. Lord Jagannath, Lord Baladev, and Mother Subhadra. They stay in the temple for 8 days when they get them there. Now, before and after the 8 days, the temple is not being used. Dust accumulates, dirt accumulates, straws, grass, sand, twigs, branches. It's just like, when we give up, not give up, when we are not living in our house, say we go for a month or two vacation, when we come back and we tend to see little white film of dust building up on the cabinets and the dining table and, shelves, staircase, so and so forth. So, but imagine us going out of station or out of town for 1 to 2 months, and we get that little dirt. About, if you subtract 365 days from 8 days, that many days the temple is not being used. And as we all know in India, the temples are not closed, where there's a front door, there's a roof over it, and there are windows and the walls. It's open. That's the architecture in India. So the Gundicha temple is open. The dust flies in and flies out 24/7 as it wills. So there's a lot of dust accumulated in that temple. So when Lord Chaitanya, right before Rath Yatra, what he did was he saw that this temple was full of dust, full of dirt. And the Lord Chaitanya, that is, coming in the form of a devotee, said, we have to clean this temple for the Lord. We have to get it spiffy clean, as they say in America, shiny. So what he did was he approached the temple president, the temple leaders at that time, and said, we want to clean this temple. And the temple president says, my Lord, you're such a pious, holy person, how can you clean the temple? But because your heart desires, we will do so. So with the help of the temple president and leaders at that time, he brought 100 water pots. We can't even imagine 100 water pots in this temple. 100 brooms. And 100 of everything for the Lord. And he made all the arrangements to have the Lord and his devotees clean the temple. Now, imagine the Lord. Lord Chaitanya is none other than Radha and Krishna in one. They have come, he has come in the form of a devotee, the Supreme Personality of God, and just shows, this is how you clean my house. This is how you keep my house clean. This is how you maintain my house. This is how we should clean the Lord's house. So the Lord got on his feet, got on his hands, got on his all fours, as they say in America, and cleaned it with his bare hands, scrubbed every corner, washed the walls. And when he had to wipe it, he did not take a rag from the kitchen. He took his own cloth on him and wiped the floor. Now, did he clean the temple once? He did not. And why did he do it more than once? He says, let me check to see if there's any finer dust and finer grains, little twigs that my eyes did not pick up. Probably the dust from the outside. Again, remember, we have to think of no walls, temple, open space, so the dust can come and back and forth and fly in, back and forth and back and forth. So he says, the dust may have come, let me go clean it again. And he cleaned it, he swept, he mopped, he did everything. And those days, they don't have what we have, the commercial style mops and buckets. They don't have vacuum cleaners. They don't have car vacs. It's all rags and aluminum buckets, water from the well, and he got on their knees. And Gundicha temple is not the size of this temple. It's huge beyond our imagination. And he brought his devotees and his associates, and they picked up every dirt and every stone. straw, every dust. And how did the Lord actually carry the grain, the dust? He took his old, whatever he was wearing, a charan and dhoti, he collected all that and he dumped it out. He didn't go say, you know what, I'm not going to mess up my dhoti, I'm not going to mess up my side, I'm just going to go get another idea. He took his own cloth, took up the dirt, put the straws and the dust and the grains in his own garment and dumped it out. And the Lord was even supervising all the other devotees what they were doing to make sure that they're cleaning it the right way. And those that were not doing it the right way, he would lovingly encourage them, this is how you clean. And those that were doing it very well, he praised them. And the third time what happened was he said, there are no walls. Let me go see if the road has any dust. So in front of the road of the temple, he poured water so that the ground is wet and the dust won't fly and come into the temple. So what is the Lord teaching us here? How we have to be conscientious of his house. Sometimes what happens is when we walk by and we see a little piece of paper, we just walk by blindly. We have to ask ourselves, if the Lord was here, what would he do? He would pick up that little piece of paper. So the Lord has come to show us, this is how you clean my house. This is how you clean the Lord's house. Nothing should go by. We can't pay a blind eye. We have to be alert. Just as how we are alert when we dress up. You know, for women especially, you know, I know the men don't care. They just come in, get one kurta, iron, get one dhoti, iron, put it on and come and their job is done. But for the women, we try to match make the color of the bindi with the color of the outfit and the sari. We come to comb the hair, we do all that. We should have 10 times more that kind of vigilance and diligence for the Lord. Because this is Krishna's house. We may be sitting here praising the Lord, preaching to the Lord, preaching about the Lord, talking about the Lord. This is the Lord's house. We may be paying the bills, we may be paying the mortgage. It is still Krishna's house. The reason being, even the money that we are paying for the bills is Krishna's money. It's not. It's not ours. We don't own it. The Lord can take it anytime and give it us at any time. Everything is the Lord's. So the Lord is showing us, clean it, sweep, mop, scrub. My Gurudev, many years ago, many years ago, one time said that when we clean, and when he said clean, when we clean any service, whether it's the floor or the walls or the pots or the pans, we have to ask ourselves, my goodness, is my heart that unclean that I'm scrubbing so much? Krishna always makes arrangements that whatever service we get in cleaning, that whatever we're cleaning is showing that our heart needs that much cleaning. Lot of scrubbing. So what Lord Chaitanya is showing us, physically, he is showing us that this is how you maintain my house. This is how you clean my house. This is how you remove the dirt. Not one time, not 2 times, not 3 times. In fact, there was one situation where someone once told another devotee, this was like, a couple of years back, and they said, you know what, Mataji, why don't we have someone else clean the temple? Why do we have to do it? And then Mataji said, what is the meaning of devotional service? Devotional service means we serve. Why do, and someone else said, why don't we get, I think I just found that out about a year ago. That blew my mind actually. I think they have those robotic cleaners that will clean the house. That is laziness. Straight up answer. The robot is getting the mercy. The machine is getting the mercy, and we are we are looking on the mercy. The mercy is coming and knocking on the door, saying, I am here, open the door, I am giving you mercy, but we're giving the mercy to the machines. That's not right consciousness. If the Lord, Radha Krishna in one, has come 500 something years ago and has led the example how to clean the Lord's temple. Why do we need machines to clean our house? Why do we need machines to clean our temple? No, we don't. We should clean the Lord's house. It's on us. That's why we are supposed to be das, anudas. Servant of the servant of the servant. The machines don't speak. They have no heart. In fact, the machines, what they call the motherboard, the chip or something, you remove that chip out, that machine is dead. You can't even do a cremation service for it. It's a machine. You put it in a dumpster. What's the point of having a machine clean the house, clean the Lord's temple? We should do it. The Lord has come in that form to show us how to serve. We should follow and understand. Krishna has come in the form of Radha Krishna, showing us how to serve, how to clean. Let's learn from that. Put aside the machines, put aside, hired help, put aside lips. If we can do it, let's do it. Because we are serving the Lord's temple. Now that is the physical part of what the Lord has come to show us how to clean. But the spiritual part of why the Lord came to show us, is telling us we have to clean our hearts. And there are two very, very, very simple ways to clean our hearts. And we do it almost every time, every day. As chanting the name of the Lord and hearing the glories of the Lord. The more we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The more we chant the holy name of the Lord, the more we will realize that the heart needs more cleaning. Sometimes devotees ask this question, Prabhu or Mataji, if I chant and I get to a certain stage, is my job done? The answer is no. You will chant until you give up your last breath. And you will even continue chanting as you go on to the next part of your life. It doesn't end. And if you ask any senior Prabhupada disciples, any sannyasi, they will tell you, I still chant. And they will chant until the last breath. So the chanting of the holy name cleans the heart. Really, really cleans, it really cleanses the heart. Now, how does it clean the heart? Again, there are two ways to clean the heart. One is chanting the holy names. Two is the glories, hearing the glories of the Lord. But the two methods are the two processes of how the hearts get cleansed. One is the physical and one is the mental. So what is the physical cleansing? When we come to the temple, we get a practical service. We give up smoking, we give up drinking, we give up illicit sex, we give up meat eating. We serve, we associate with the devotees. We start chanting the holy names. That is how we stop all the bad that's going to pull us down. Now that is the physical part of cleaning the heart. The most, actually, frankly speaking, that is the toughest. But the toughest of the toughest is the mental. Because Maya is very strong. Maya creeps up in the mind. Because Maya comes to the mind and we don't even know that Maya is coming through your mind saying, it's okay, you can do this, no problem, no harm. It's okay to do this. It's okay to do that. It's okay to be lazy. It's okay to sneak. It's okay to, just do 15 rounds, not 16 rounds. Maya comes to the mind. The Maya in the mind is the toughest of the toughest. As the toughest of the toughest. Maya creeps. Now the interesting part is, Maya is also the servant of the Lord. But at the same time, she's giving us a test. Does she hate us? Of course not. But why is she testing us? To bring us closer to the Lord. Many of us have gone to school. We've sat through tests. We've sat through exams. Why do the teachers give us tests and exams? It's not like the teacher hates us. She's testing us to see how much we have learned. Have we remembered what we have learned? Did we understand the knowledge? And let me test so she can go to the next level. Same thing with Maya. So rather than looking at Maya as from a negative point of view, because sometimes, it comes across negative, she's a teacher. Think of her as a teacher. She's the Lord's servant, very dear. She's a teacher, so she's testing us. Okay, you know what? Let me see how much this person is going to surrender to the Lord. And she's going to give you a test. And you either fail or you pass. If you pass, you go to the next level. Now, the only plus point in passing the test in the material world is, you finish high school 12 years. If you finish school 12 years, you do 4 years bachelor's. You want to go to master's 2 years, and another 2 years PhD, you're done. That's your complete. Now, in Krishna consciousness, the teacher doesn't end. It goes on for life. It goes on for life until the last breath. And that is the reason why devotees of Lord Krishna, they chant until their last breath. Maya is very, very, very strong. I think last week Prabhupada mentioned in his class. Maya comes in two ways. Gross as a physical part, why they test you. The subtle, the mental is the toughest of the toughest. We have to, as soon as the mind says, it's okay, that means the mind is saying, it's okay, 5 minutes late, koi baat nahi. No. We have to fight the mind. As much as we fight and as much as we push our children to do well in school, to get better grades, that much and even more we have to fight in our Krishna consciousness. Even more. Is it easy? No, it's not. Now, was it easy for us when we were trying to stay up all night and get past our biology tests, our chemistry tests, our physics tests, MBA classes? You all have gone through it. No, it wasn't. You guys had to do a lot of mugging, sleepless nights, crank up the alarm clock, run on 2 hours sleep. But what happens is, Maya is telling us, if you do that, you get a very good job, $50,000, $60,000 salary, 2-car garage, 2-car house, job is done, good salary, got a beautiful wife, got 2 kids. But we don't apply the philosophy in our Krishna consciousness. Because Maya is saying, koi baat nahi. You have done that, this is secondary. That is Maya. As soon as we put Krishna consciousness, as soon as we put spiritual life and the back burner, Maya is saying it is okay to slack. And once we sense that our minds are telling us it's okay to slack, ding, 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 ding should go on the red light. Maya is testing you. Come forth. Maya is very strong. And sometimes in Krishna consciousness, my husband actually always reminds me and us, actually, when my family will say, that sometimes devotees don't have a healthy respect for Maya. Not negative. Healthy respect for Maya. Why healthy? Because some might say, but Maya is putting me in trouble because I'm always being tested. But why healthy? Because she's giving us positive help in our Krishna consciousness. Why respect? Because we really don't respect her. If we respect Maya the way we should be on the forefront along with our material life, as opposed to back, where the material is here, the academics is here, but Krishna is at the back. I'll come to you when I want to come to you. I'll come to you once a week. I'll come to you when I need to pass for my exams. I'll come to you when I need to get this job because I have to get married next year because I need to, so on and so forth. I'll come to you when I want to come to you. Krishna is not a grocery store. Krishna is not a grocery store. You just go in, you pay what you want, you come out. Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead who owns us. We can walk out the door and we can either walk home straight alive or we fall flat on the ground outside and not wake up the next minute. But sometimes we forget who the Supreme Lord is. So Krishna is teaching us, Lord Chaitanya is teaching us, clean this heart. Clean it, clean it, clean it. Chant, chant, chant. And the more we chant, the more we will be clean. But someone might say, when will it happen? That's between our desire and the Lord's reciprocation. The more we desire to want to grow, the more the Lord will reciprocate. If we take one step forward, the Lord will step 10 steps towards you. How kind He is. It's like a father. When the child wants something, the parent will do anything to give what the child wants. Anything. He or she will even sacrifice what they want for the benefit of the child. That is the Lord. He is so kind, so loving. He's always reminding us, I'm here, come to me. I'm always here, come to me. So the Lord, if we desire to give up certain of our anarthas, the Lord will reciprocate. I can guarantee you that. No doubt. I always ask devotees, that we should take time. Sometimes we don't recognize our faults because we are so quick to catching other people's faults. We don't take time to see what fault we have. It's very quick. My father will say, one finger pointing at them, 3 are pointing back at you. So it's not double, it's triple. Triple faults we have. So if we find one fault in one person, you point a finger, we have triple pointing back at us. It is very important for devotees to really take time, write down, what are my issues? I have this attachment. I have this anger issue. I have this control issue. I have this possessive nature. List them down. Take it to the Lord and say, Krishna, I have these issues. I cannot get rid of it, but I need your help. With full desire, the Lord will reciprocate. In I think I've shared this some time ago. In 97. Yes, when Vrinda was born, 97. Couple months after she was born, I was going through a lot of what we call a fight between mind and heart. My heart and my mind, not anyone else's. And I couldn't identify what was happening to me. but I knew something was disturbing, but something very unpleasant and very negative. And the more I would see how other mothers would react with their child, very lovingly, very caring, very natural, the more it would hurt me. Because I couldn't do it to Brenda when she was, of course she doesn't remember anything, what, a month or 2 months old. And then I saw my husband, very natural. And I'm thinking, how do these parents do it so natural? I cannot do this. What is blocking me? So I went to my spiritual master. I said, Gurudev, I cannot do this. What is wrong? He said, Anasuya, you have serious anger issues. It's blocking the feelings of love. And he says, and if you don't fix it now, you're going to have a very difficult time raising your child. And I remember at that time, Krishna's arrangement, because I prayed so much, I need to remove this anger, because I was a very angry, hot-tempered person. If my sister was here, she would probably give you a very scary story about me. She would probably equate me to Durga or Kali, one or the other, but I was a very angry person. But I prayed, I said, if I do not fix this issue, I will lose my child. And Krishna's arrangement, my senior god sister was having a workshop on conflict resolution. And one of the topics was anger management. And I said, aha, let me go fix up myself. And I went and I spent 4 weeks in those courses. And it was so painful. A lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of crying. When we pull out the crap in our hearts, as they say, it's like pulling out the weeds from the ground. We are pulling the weeds. We are not feeling the pain when you pull the weeds, but when you pull the weeds are saying, ow, 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 ouchie, you're pulling, you're hurting me. But we can't hear when we pull the weeds from the ground. It's how it is, pulling the crap from the heart. It was very painful, and a lot of realizations, a lot of feelings, a lot of thoughts came up, and at the end I realized why I was angry. Because I wanted to be the controller. Boss, that was killing me. I couldn't see it. It was just killing me. When we want to be the controller, lust and anger creeps up. As soon as we feel that we're not the controller, we get very angry. We get very angry. Why? Because we feel like we're losing power. We're losing say. We're losing our position. We're losing our status. It's a very common thing in India. We're losing our status. We're losing the voice. That doesn't matter in Krishna consciousness. It's the heart. It's the heart. Maya is very strong. We need to take time to write down and ask ourselves, what is my anarthas? If anyone says that they don't have an anarthas, then you are sitting in the wrong place. You should probably be in a different world. We are here because we have anarthas, given fact. And when we identify the anarthas, we should find the solution. If we do not find the solution and we say, koi baat nahi, I'll deal with it later, Maya is saying, it's okay, be who you are, be the controller, that's okay, that's fine. Time goes on and goes on and goes on. Next thing you know, you're 50 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old, and next thing you know, we can't do much. When the Lord comes and knocks on our door and tells us, wake up, fix yourself, we gotta do it. It's just like, when we spill milk, We don't wait for someone to come and clean up the milk that's spilled. We grab it, we clean the milk. Same thing with our hearts. When we have issues in our minds, fix it right away. Fast. We should not wait. Lord, Srila Rupa Goswami said that in order to progress in devotional service, now you know what? There are steps. We go through 9 stages of Bhakti Yoga. The first is Shraddha. We have to have faith. What is the faith? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is my Lord, birth after birth. And I will always be Das, Das, Namdas. That's the Shraddha. Once we come from the Shraddha, we go to Sadhu Sangha, association of the devotees. Once we go to that, that's right, Sadhu Sangha, North Carolina. Once we go from that, we go to Bhajan Kriya, performance of devotional service. And again, remember, devotional service means we use our hands and legs, not any robot machines. It's us and our body, our hands and our legs. Forget the machines. Next, we go to the Anartha Nivritti, the stage of decreasing our unwanted attachments. One devotee one time told me, you know, Mataji, the reason I don't want to surrender is because I'm too attached. And I said, how long are you going to be attached? She says, I don't know, but I'm not ready. I said, what if your time ends now? She says, it's okay. I said, very well. Wow, okay, someone is ready, that gutsy to carry on. I'm not. The Lord is coming to us and knocking on our hearts. We have to come to the level where we give up our attachments. What are our attachments? Do we know what our attachments are? How many of us, don't have to name it, just raise your hands. How many of us know what our attachments are? Write it down. Write it down. Take it to the Lord. He will remove it. I can vouch my life on it. I'll even give you my life and vouch that He will remove it. No doubt about it. We have to come to the stage where we want to remove unwanted attachments. Next is Nishtha. Steadiness, commitment, dedication, loyalty. We are committed. Next, we come to the level of ruchi, the taste. Once you get the taste, you will never leave it. We all have our own taste of different foods and delicacies and sweets and, you know, for me it's spiciness. I just have a, attachment to my spicy level. But that's my biggest weakness is spice. I like spicy food quite a bit. But we all have taste. We have to rise to the taste of the holy name. Taste the holy name. One devotee said, whenever we chant the Lord's name, the Lord is dancing on our tongue. The Lord is dancing on our tongue. So when we chant, remember, the Lord is dancing on our tongue. The Lord is in our hearts, no doubt about that. Everyone has a Paramatma. Everyone has the Lord in our heart. But we have to make the heart a cleaner place for the Lord to sit. Now, someone may be asked, but Mataji, if the Lord is in someone's heart, how come I don't hear? How come I'm not able to connect? Because the heart is not clean. If the heart is not clean, it's very hard to connect. It's like, fax machine. If you don't plug in the right cord to the back of the fax machine, you're not going to send a fax out to your company. Something's not, there's no connection there. So, In the same mode, we have to connect it. We have to clean the heart. We have to clean it. So that once the heart gets cleaner, it is very easy for us to hear. It is very easy for us to connect. It's very easy for us to also reciprocate with the Lord. Then the connection, the fax line is working. The heart and the mind. The next level is attachment to the Lord. We get more attached. Once we get more attached, we have the love, the bhava. Once we get the bhava, we get the prema bhakti. From sadhana bhakti to prema bhakti as a long, long journey. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in one day. It doesn't happen in 2 days. Not even in years. We have to want to have it happen. We have to have the desire to happen. We have to have the desire. Lord, I want this. I want to be detached from this. I have this issue. This is my anartha. Please remove it. When the child is crying, the child wants the mother. The child is crying. Ma, come and get me. That is how we have to be when we go to the Lord. Remove this anartha in my heart. I'm begging you. Beg. Before the Lord, we are beggars. Before the Lord, we are beggars. We are not kings and queens, nor are we doctorates and lawyers and doctors. We are nothing before the Lord. We are beggars. So when we go before the Lord, we don't beg, give me a grade A in my math test. Don't beg, give me a job. Don't beg, give me a Mercedes. Don't beg, give me a car. Beg for the Lord's mercy. That should be our prayer. Once we get the Lord's mercy, the Lord knows how to bless us. He doesn't need a laundry list. Before we speak, He knows what is in our heads. Before we tell, I lost my job, He knows that the job is going to be lost. Before the boss tells you, I am getting rid of you, He knows you're going to get ridden of. He knows. He is Antaryami. He knows everything before we get to know. But yet we go and tell Him, I've lost my job. No. Ask Him for mercy. Guide me. Help me. Protect me. Help me to surrender myself towards you. At your most, I am your beggar. Lord Chaitanya has come to form, He is, just imagine the Lord, the form of Radha Krishna, come in the form of a simple devotee is begging. Jeev Jago, wake up. He is begging. If the Lord is begging, who are we, Baba? Forget the degrees, forget the academics, forget the bank balance. It means nothing to the Lord. It's a very nice analogy that actually Lord Chaitanya instructing to Sri Rupa Goswami. When we plant the seed of devotion, we have to water the seed of devotion. We water it with chanting of the holy name and hearing the glories of the Lord. We should make sure there are no weeds growing around it. And the weeds he refers to material attachments. Material attachments. Material attachments can pull us down really fast. And he also says that we should make sure that we have a fence around it. The fence represents Vaishnava Aparad. Prabhupada says, if we commit Vaishnava Aparad, our spiritual progress is 0. He didn't say 10%. He didn't say 5%. He says 0. Aparads, very serious. Vaishnava offenses is a big deal. It's like going up. You make one offense, flat on your face. Done. Be very careful Offenses is what's going to help us build the fence, to block the fences, so that little seed can grow into a nice, beautiful plant. Bhakti Lata Beach. Very, very important. Offenses can really put crap in the heart. It can put a lot of... offenses is like a dumping zone. We dump crap in our hearts. Dump, 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 dump. We have to remove the offenses. We have to watch. And that's why I was always reminded by my senior God sisters that before we speak, before we write, think, who are you speaking to? Who is the receiving end? What is that devotee's position or whatever? And how will he or she receive it? These three things must go through our minds. Because my father used to always tell me, not all 5 fingers are the same. So we all have 5 fingers. I hope. We all have 5 fingers. Your 5 fingers and my 5 fingers are not the same. So how I will receive information cannot be received that same way by someone else. Because why? We are at different grade levels. We give instruction to a grade 1. We cannot give the same instruction to a grade 2 or grade 3. They'll say, teacher, you're very boring. Give me something tougher. An example, if you give an instruction to a grade 1, you cannot give the same thing to a kindergarten. They'll say, teacher, I don't understand you. So when we tell the devotees something, we have to think, will he or she be able to receive it? Or am I giving the instruction or the message in a very palatable manner? That's how we reduce offenses. Minimize and avoid offenses. We should always think before we write. I think I gave this example last year when I was giving the class at Reading in one Bhakti Vriksha program. That I forgot what the topic was, but I asked Dear Krishna Prabhu, I forgot something I was going to ask him. And my passionate mind said, do this, write this. I said, no. Who was receiving it? Dear Krishna Prabhu, devotee of the Lord. That's not the right etiquette. I actually rephrased the whole sentence 3 times before I get sent to the Krishna Prabhu. 3 times. We have to check Vaishnava offenses. How we word the sentence. The mood behind it. Word carries weight, Prabhus. Word carries weight. You've got to be very, very careful. And Vaishnava offenses, we do one offense, it is danger. That is part of the cleaning of the heart. So let's be very attentive to Vaishnava aparad. And how do we remove Vaishnava aparad? Chanting of the holy name, devotee association, hearing the glories of the Lord. And honestly speaking, I would do it if I were you, because I did it and it really helped me. Ask a devotee for guidance. Ask. I would like to say it this way. How can I say it in the right way so it doesn't offend another devotee? Have them edit your message. That's okay. Revealing one's mind and confidence is allowing Krishna consciousness. I want to say this to the devotee. How do I say so I won't offend that devotee? That means we are trying to not offend it. That's okay. Learn. We are all in kindergarten. So all our PhDs and masters, all it doesn't matter anymore, Baba. We are all at kindergarten level. We need to learn how to communicate so that we don't commit offenses. So in that mood of Gundicha, in the mood of cleaning our hearts, I humbly request every devotee that when we come out, and I hope everyone here will be there this coming Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., when we come out and do service in this temple to clean, let's not ask for the easy cleaning task. Let's not ask for what we feel comfortable in cleaning, because whatever service we get is arranged by the Lord. And if it's dirty, then it means that's the dirt in our hearts. Scrubbing, Brillo pad, Ajax, Combat, Lysol, Clorox, you name it. That's the cleaning in our hearts. So whatever service we get, accept it as the Lord is telling us. I need to clean my heart. My God, gotta clean it, gotta rub it, gotta scrub it. So let's all come in that mood. And when we clean, imagine Lord Chaitanya cleaning out 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. And when he came back a second and third time, he looked for the fine, tiny little dirts all over that we can't even see. We got to come to that level. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions? Yes.
Wonderful topic we were talking about not offending devotees and not making impression. So the other part of the story is how to not take it. If once I heard if I offend a devotee, even if I ask for forgiveness, that's okay, but that the issue is not Krishna.
Yeah.
It's up to him whether he will, whatever he will do. So on the other side of the coin is how to not take it if you feel somebody is offending somebody, how to not take it.
Can you give me, if it's not offending you mean?
Yeah, if I feel like somebody is offending me, how should I complete it?
The mind is playing games. When that happens, that happened to many times. When that happens, we should tell our mind to take the humble position. The mind is telling us, you didn't do anything wrong, but you did something wrong. You said sorry, but why you said sorry? Why would you say sorry? But you have some status. It's okay. Now I'm offended because now it's hurting me. That's the ego. So we have to pray to the Lord to remove the ego and come down to the path of humble position, humility. And it takes time, it takes work, but the more we pray to the Lord and say, Krishna, I made this offense, but it's really bothering me because I feel like I'm taking it in, it's not really bothering me. Please, I'm coming to you to relieve this pain in my heart. Relieve my pain. Remove the ego. And the Lord will intervene. Prayer is very powerful. Very powerful. In the past few months, I was born and raised in a Christian family, so we were taught as Christians to pray. But when I became a devotee, my chanting was my prayer, but I never really prayed the way I used to pray in my Christian days. But the past few months, I have never prayed the way I prayed before in my life. I prayed so much that I can see Guru and Krishna speaking through devotees. That's how the Lord works. And sometimes in your prayer, the Lord will speak through devotees. And sometimes the mind will say, that is the answer, but do I want to accept it? The mind plays games. That's when you tell the mind, take a broom and hit it. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, take a shoe and hit your head 10 times, I think, every morning. The mind is a rascal. Of all the organs, the mind is the biggest rascal. Prabhupada says we've got to hold it like the reins of the horse of the carriage. Keep it under control. The mind is a rascal, so we should tell all the mind. The Lord Krishna is having a devotee speak for me. It just happened to me like about a month ago. I was having some realizations of some project that we wanted to do in the temple, and I was contemplating for a few months. Should I not? Should I not? Spoke to one devotee, and they said, yeah. Then another devotee, which I didn't speak, was in the back of my mind, but I was praying to Guru Krishna, what should I do? And Krishna's arrangement, the devotee called, some other devotee called, and shared the same thought. And I said, okay, I should do it. The Lord has spoken to this devotee. And this devotee had no idea that I made that prayer. That's how the Lord works. If we surrender, saranagati, if we surrender and throw ourselves at the feet of the Lord, Lord, I have this issue, my mind is a rascal, He'll take care of it. But it's full surrender. Have I answered your question? Any other questions? Yes, ma'am, girl.
I had a question. So earlier you were talking about how when you use machines, it's not devotional service. So we use vacuums,
Good question. When we were living in Gitanagari, the old farm days, me and Uncle Krishna couldn't afford a vacuum, so I had to sweep the carpet with a broom in the temple in one of our homes. And going back, and something just came to my mind. In the mid-90s, when we were living in Gitanagari, my first service was to clean the ashram building. You know what it's like, Ram. You guys pillars of it. And all 3 floors in the old building. So every morning after class, I would sweep it. And one Mataji, a very senior Prabhupada disciple, left her body in 2015 or 16, Mother Kalini. She was my Shiksha Guru at that time, and I told Mataji, how come we don't have regular mops? She said to me, Anasuya, get on your feet. And get on your knees, get on your fours. Learn this first. And when you feel like you can vacuum, then the vacuum will come to you. It's okay to use a vacuum, but if you can do something without a vacuum, do it. See, it's not wrong to use machines, but machine shouldn't be used because I am lazy. That shouldn't be the case. Vacuums are okay. This is a huge space. Vacuum is okay. But what happens is that next thing you know, we'll go from vacuums to the robot machines to do the work. And we just sit and watch the robot going north, south. As I just can't believe those things exist. I just want to really get rid of, put that company out of business. It's pathetic, seriously. But imagine the machine going and just watching the machine doing the work. At least the vacuum cleaner, we're doing some service. But the machine is doing just sitting watching the machine. So the machine, Prabhupada says, we should use machines in his service, not for laziness. Answer your question? Not for laziness. That is the key word. Machines in Krishna consciousness, but not to be used for laziness. That's the key thing. Have I answered your question, Anisha? Any other questions? Okay, we will close and go for Arati. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Actually, we'll do the one round. Thank you, Shambhala Prabhu. We'll do the one round chanting, and then from that we'll prepare for Arati.